Imagine your existence is that of a giant round ball. Now imagine you're a giant round ball with legs and noodly arms. Now imagine you're a giant round ball with legs, noodly arms, and a gun. You've just entered the world of the game Rounds. Rounds is a 1v1 PvP platform shooter with some rogue-like gameplay aspects worked in. It's a colorful cartoon splash of hoppity, noodly, skippy violence that's easy to pick up and difficult to put down. The game of Rounds consists of 3 basic parts. Part 1, design your odd little death sphere to look as intimidating as you'd like, and then go find another equally intimidating death sphere to compete with. This could be through a private session or in random public lobbies. In Part 2, you select an initial power from a set of 5 randomly distributed cards. And in Part 3, you get to jump, skip, bounce, shield, and shoot your way to a death-filled victory. If you win, repeat Part 3. And if you lose, repeat Parts 2 and 3. You see, every time you die, you get to become stronger as you get to choose a power-up from 5 randomly dealt cards. These power-ups can stack in interesting and powerful ways and can result in some truly chaotic scenes. So that's basically the gist of it. You play to a best of 5, rinse and repeat. It sounds simple and at face value it probably is, but every game is different due to the random cards that are dealt, the variation in the maps, and the fact that you're playing against another living, breathing, and hopefully thinking human being. Rounds is a super inviting game that makes getting started about as easy as any title I've ever played. I've played it now with a few different friends, and they all found it very accessible. We were having competitive matches within just a few minutes, but that doesn't mean this game is devoid of strategy. As you spend more time practicing, you do gain a better understanding of how the power-ups stack and work together, so a veteran player will have the advantage over a new initiate. But as you only get power-ups when you die, eventually things balance out to keep everyone engaged. It's the power-up mechanics that give this game replayability. I found that experimenting with different ability combos kept me jumping back in over and over again. For one game, I might try experimenting with a close quarters melee tank type character where I get to enjoy chasing my opponents around the map while they scream like a little child. Or in another game, I might go for a full chaos build by stacking weapon bounce effects to create an intricate web of ricocheting explosives that has just as high a chance of killing me as they do the other player. It's all in good fun, and while the tryhards I'm sure have discovered what the ultimate meta is, if you're just playing for kicks and giggles with your friends, there's more than enough variation to keep you all engaged. As for the level design, it's a highly saturated cartoon sketch of color and wiggly parts. The maps are built on a physics engine, which allows you to use the surrounding features as part of your battle plan. For example, you could drop large chunks on an opponent to kill them, or attempt to shoot the platform out from under their feet so that they fall into the abyss below. There was one little gripe though I had, and that was that while the developers claim that there are 70 plus unique maps on which you can play, both my friends and I commented on how often we seem to keep seeing the same maps over and over again. It wasn't really game-breaking, but some additional play areas would be nice. For the controls, I mostly play with a keyboard and mouse. I find these controls to be very snappy, easy to use, and very efficient. You can play with a gamepad if you'd like, but the few times that I tried it, the controls just didn't seem as easy to use. It's the age-old debate, I'm sure, between controller players and keyboard and mouse players when it comes to first-person shooters, but it seems like with this fast-paced game, it was just meant for a keyboard and mouse. Rounds is not a single-player game, so you're going to need someone to join in. If you both have a copy of the game, you and a friend can play via an online lobby. This system works pretty well 90% of the time, but we did notice the occasional issue with latency on one side or the other. You can use Steam Remote Play if you only have one copy of the game. For us, the connection worked just fine, but you do need to remember that every person participating will need to have their own unique controller setup, because Remote Play does not allow 2 players to use the keyboard and mouse on one computer. One or both of you are going to need a gamepad. Lastly, you can join lobbies to play with randoms, and at the time of this recording there still seems to be a pretty good number of regular players who are on during peak hours. After talking with my friends about our experience, we have decided that there's a few areas where this game needs to improve if it's going to maintain a long-term player base. We really want to see more players added to the game, 2 versus 2 at a minimum. While 1 versus 1 is great and all, the game has such a Smash Brothers feel to it that it just seems like wasted potential to not bring in more players to add to the chaos. Eventually, the game is going to need updates to the deck of power-up cards as well. Some cards could use some rebalancing, and I've seen some great ideas for new cards on the game's forums. But lastly, the game needs customization, and this is a big deal. Every game follows the same formula. It's a best of 5 deathmatch, and you all just choose a card whenever you die. Being able to change the number of rounds that you play, restrict certain cards, add multipliers, or other gameplay modes like maybe a capture the flag or king of the hill would really give this game more legs. And it would turn it from a light filler title into a more robust, long-term commitment. There is a modding community for this game and they've been pretty active, but getting the mods to work and installing them, it's just more trouble than a lot of players are going to want to deal with. So it's my hope that the developers are listening to the players and that they're still invested in improving the game and bringing out additional content. So, Rounds. It's the colorful, snappy, quick, and easy roguelike shooter that everybody can get into. Right now on Steam, it's only about $5 US. And for that price, I can 100% recommend it as a quick little filler game that you can easily jump into and enjoy with your friends. It's a great couch multiplayer title, and it's so simple that I've even played it with my 6-year-old child. If you enjoy these reviews, I would appreciate it if you would take the time to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment down below if there's any titles you would like me to review in the future. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll catch up with you next time.